Welcome back to Stingrays TV. Joseph Zakrzewski, the voice of the South Carolina Stingrays, with you, joined alongside Stingrays head coach Spencer Carbery as we announce another player joining the team for the 2014-15 campaign, and it's a defenseman, a new face of the organization, in Lee Moffie, coming up from the Central Hockey League. Now, Coach, what were your conversations with Lee like, and what ultimately made him a good fit for this organization? Because I know a lot of fans are curious about this new player.
Yeah, so Lee comes to us after spending his rookie year. He was on a two-way American League ECHL contract with Lake Erie. Lake Erie's affiliate was in the Central League in Denver, and that. So we're excited. We're excited to get Lee. He's had a great college career, played at the University of Michigan, who we've seen quite a few of those guys come through our organization, talked to a lot of them closely, including Sean Hunwick, Scooter Vaughn, who all speak very, very highly of him and think he would be a great fit in terms of those guys know what this organization's about. They know what the expectations are, and I think he's going to be a great fit in the organization.
He puts up a lot of positive numbers out there in Denver, both offensively and defensively. One of the league leaders among first-year defensemen in overall points. Also a plus 11 on the back end that also had him in the top 3 as well in some of those categories. So it seems like you're getting a pretty well-rounded player in the lineup.
Yeah, we expect him to be very versatile in being able to play in all situations, give us something on the power play, be that dynamic defenseman that you need that can make some plays out there when you get in 5-on-4 situations. And the one thing, too, that stood out to me that I really liked is it's a process as a rookie for coming into pro, and sometimes it takes a little bit of time. But the thing that I really liked is once he settled in down in Denver, and they ended up going on a lengthy playoff run there down in the Central League and made it all the way, I believe, to the finals, Lee Moffie was playing his best hockey. And when the chips are on the table and when the games are coming down into April and those are the games that mean a lot, he was elevating his game and playing arguably the best he played all season. So that was a big positive for me. I like that. We want guys that when it gets tough, difficult, and the stakes are raised in the games, we want guys that's when they're playing their best, and Lee showed that last year. So we're expecting big things in his second year. It's a big step for him individually for his career. He wants to prove that he's a everyday American League player, and that's going to be on him to making sure that he's prepared and ready to come in here and be a difference maker in October.
I had a chance to catch up with him a little bit earlier today, and that was one of the first things he mentioned when he had a conversation with you, is just he looked at our track record last year and just all the players spread out in the American Hockey League and getting their opportunities. A lot of those guys getting their very first opportunities, and he had those looks last year with Lake Erie, 5 games, 2 assists, and it certainly helps that you have a little bit of an NHL experience with the development camps, being a draft selection of the San Jose Sharks. So you know you're going to get a player that's coming in here and hungry and wanting to improve.
And that's what we want. We want guys that want to come and get better every single day, and they're hungry. They're not just satisfied with being in the ECHL or being in Charleston, South Carolina. This is great. These are hungry individuals that want to get better and are trying to get to the next level. And we feel like Lee fits that bill. And then going into what you said this summer, it's been a huge recruiting tool, and it's no secret. Players around the league, players that go home for the summer, they talk and they know what we did last year and what we were able to do with a lot of guys' careers and move them on and keep them in the American League. And a lot of those guys have signed for next year. So it's been nice this summer to be able to have a lot of players contacting us and wanting to play here and saying, wow, look at all the players, the Mark Hagels, the Chernies, the Scooter Vaughns, the Lankows. How do I get into an organization and play for a team that is going to push me to get to the next level? And so that's helped a lot this summer, and Lee's a good example of that.
So turning your attention a little bit away from Lee and just the recruitment process overall for you this summer, would you say that the Stingers are in pretty high demand? Because we've seen announcements from American Hockey League teams like Mark Hagel most recently going up and getting a deal with the Iowa Wild. And, of course, you talked about Scooter and Chris with the Bridgeport Sound Tigers. So does that really put a big bright spot on the Stingrays and your work behind the scenes to get players to the next level? And does that ultimately lead to a lot of voicemails and phone calls?
Yeah, it's a testament to the player first and foremost. Those guys earned those contracts by what they showed last year, but it's also a feather in our cap for some of those guys. Scoots spent over a season here. Lanks, same thing, spent parts of 2 years here. And for them to be able to move on and not just go up to the American League and have a cup of coffee and come back down and be in the coast, or go up for maybe the end of the year and then come back down. These are guys that now have elevated their game and gone up to the American League and proven to everybody there that, hey, I belong here and I'm an everyday American League player. And that's what those guys have done. And it's, I touched on it before, but that's important because we feel like we, as a coaching staff and as an organization, we pride ourselves on making these players better, making them not only be effective in our league, but trying to get them prepared to not go up and just be able to put up good numbers down here and then go up for a cup of coffee in the American League to go up there and stay. And that's been good. It's been good, and a lot of the guys, or some of the guys we've qualified, have signed American League deals. So hopefully they'll be up in the American League for next season.
And touching back on the very first point and some of that recruitment process, a lot of guys from the University of Michigan. Is there a special connection of pulling so many players from there? Because it seems like there's always a Wolverine, sometimes a Spartan, making their way into the Stingrays lineup on a pretty consistent basis.
Yeah, with Quickie, Scoots, Hunwick. It's good, though, because that's always, I find it helpful in the recruiting process when you can pick up the phone and call Scooter Vaughn or Quickie or any of these guys and ask them about the person. Ask them about the character. And they've spent, you can talk to a coach, and a coach will give you valuable information, no question. The coaches at Michigan will tell you a lot of things that you need to know about a player, but their teammates are around them 10 times as much as a coach is. They know their habits away from the rink. They know how hard they work. They know how committed. They know how well they fit into a team setting. So that, for me, is such valuable. And when I can call Scoots and he's going to give me an honest assessment and tell me what he thinks of a former teammate, that's very valuable information on my end. And that's why I felt completely comfortable and feel like Lee Moffie is going to be a great fit.
Coach, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Stingrays head coach Spencer Carbery joining us here and welcoming the newest member to the Stingrays organization, defenseman Lee Moffie.